I think the word prenup is
such a taboo word, eh?
Yeah, it's been tainted over so many years by so many movies and sitcoms and stuff, you know? And so like we don't use that as terminology in the office.
Right.
We use relationship agreement or property agreement.
Cool.
To just kind of remove that negativity up front.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like this property exists. Let's just talk about whose it is from a practical point of view. And so we dumb it down sometimes and we're like, oh, we just need to know.
Yeah.
So we will force people to have the conversation in front of us.
Yep.
Be like, oh yeah, so that was the date we bought it. This is the owner on the title, or I have this investment over there, and he's got this over here, and then we've actually all talked about it, and now I've written it all down.
Yeah.
And it's there somewhere.
It's documented.
It's documented. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing, but they just talked about it. Nothing's like,
don't say prenup or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we're discussing ideas around what it means to be in this state of time and more importantly, making positivity louder. My name is Akash and today I'm joined by Alister and Vinay from BetterCo.
G'day.
G'day.
How's it going?
Good. Weekend vibes.
Yeah. So if you don't know these guys, they've been on our podcast previously and we talked about our own relationships with money. These guys come from an accounting background. And if I remember correctly, you guys are all about people,
Purpose
and profit. Profit is last, and I think that was quite clear last time. It's always about people and purpose first, and then profit. And before we get into it, I just want to congratulate you guys on your award as well.
2 awards.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Thanks to the team.
Thank
They
you.
worked really hard to get there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these guys won they were winners in the small to medium business award at the New Market Business Awards,
and then
the Supreme Award. So that's overall
that's the award. Yeah.
of the night.
All of the
How was that? What was the feeling?
That shocked us. We did not expect that at all.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
But they did like this big 1 minute lead up into it, and I was like, we do that. Hey, we do that. That sounds like us. We do that.
Yeah.
And then when we announced it, I was like, wow, so cool.
How have you guys entered any awards and things like that before, or was this?
That's the second time we've entered into the New Market Awards.
Yeah.
We entered a couple of years ago, and we were finalists in 2 categories then, but we didn't win in that. That was the same category last time, and Business Person of the Year, but we didn't win that time. So this time we were nominated for 3 awards.
Yeah.
We won 1.
Yeah.
And then the Supreme Award at the end, which was cool.
Trumps it all, eh?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
don't worry about the other
the
2.
team's still on the high, so it's great. Yeah.
Oh, mean.
Yeah.
And how does that feel after have been working for this long and then? Because I think this is something you guys have started yourselves.
Yeah,
and then to be recognized
the award is
for what you do.
the last 12 months.
Yeah, right.
And we're probably way past that mentally. We're not even thinking about the last 12 months or anything like that. We just think forward. So to look back on the last 12 months, go, oh, that's what we did, and these are the people we helped, and this is the amount of money that we saved people or we helped people accumulate through COVID. It was such a stressful time, that April to June, July period, and then back again in August.
Yeah.
In September. So I think it was nice to be recognized for that.
COVID definitely played a massive part in the last 12 months. I mean, we did a lot of webinars for New Market Business Association.
Yeah.
And we also did a few webinars ourselves and calling our clients every day.
Yeah, that must have been a pretty stressful time. Was it stressful for you guys? Or?
Well, stressful for the first month, definitely, phone calls and text messages and Facebook messages coming left and right.
Yeah.
And even outside of our client base, so we just try to help whenever we can.
Yeah.
Because remember, we were home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one could go anywhere.
Exactly.
You're trying to attach the law to these businesses you can't even see and go and look at because you weren't allowed.
Yeah.
It was quite hard for us, but
even just in general, right? Money coming in and money going out, and that's kind of stopped because
everyone's holding on to the treasure box.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the thing. In a cycle, right? If you owe him and he owes me, but he doesn't pay me, you can't pay him. So there's heaps of that going on.
Yeah,
that's right.
So there must have been a lot of learning for you guys as well. And
we had to learn.
We changed a few
quick.
processes as well.
Right.
A lot of businesses just started doing direct debits.
Yep.
Little things like that helps.
Yeah.
even for us, like, there were like a couple of weeks where the whole industry was just like what's going on, and we thought everyone's going to stop work and nothing's going to happen. And then after like 2 weeks, everyone's like, oh yeah, nah, this is all good. We can still work from home, and the only thing that probably stopped was stuff happening on site. Like buildings getting built on site. But other than that, construction drawings kept getting made, and you still have meetings, and everyone just adapts to working at home.
Yeah.
So
I think professional services definitely got a little bit better. If you're in like, a physical role, laborer's role, or even hospitality and retail, they get hit pretty hard. Yeah. So they're the ones that we focus on helping as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys do you guys work from home more often now, or
just
you
one
try
day
to
a
get
week.
everyone still into the office?
1 day a week.
Oh yeah, is that for
Like
everyone in the
everyone
office?
in the team.
Oh cool. And you kind of choose whatever day works for you, or
we used to, but now we each have a fixed day.
Yeah.
Just to put some structure around it.
Yeah.
And every now and then, like we're all about one life,
Yeah.
So if you've got like an appointment in the morning, then don't come to work. Like go and do that, and then maybe go home or whatever. It's flexible. Yeah. It's not like, I don't call it really working from home anymore. It's just like flexible Monday to Friday.
Yeah, our team's always on our phones, and
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have people in the office as well.
Yeah.
Just get that whole huddle going in the morning and get your coffees together. It's different when you're working
That
at home in your
culture, right?
PJs, eh?
Yeah, I like having that mix. I like having a couple of days at home when I can, just because you can get that
Like a
focus
power
that you
day,
need,
yeah.
and if you really need to concentrate on something.
Yeah.
And
It's
plus,
funny, because now people go home, work from home to be more productive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So today, I think this is a nice place to kind of just segue into what we want to talk about. We want to talk about money in our relationships, our personal relationships, pretty much the different options, whether you have like things like joint bank accounts or your separate bank accounts with your significant other, going into prenups as well before marriage. And we'll just see where it gets going, where the discussion goes. So
always a sensitive topic,
Should we
especially
start with
prenup.
who's pro and who's against?
Yeah. Let's start with that.
Are you pro joint?
Pro joint? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm pro joint.
I think I pro joint before I even got married, because we bought a house together before we got married.
Right.
Yeah, I'm definitely pro.
This is like without any knowledge of why I should be or shouldn't be. Like, this is just internal instinct. I'd say, wait, did you say before married or after, or just in general?
Just in general.
In general?
I suppose sometimes,
Yeah.
like if you're not married, you can pick what. But
Yeah. So, I'm pro.
Yeah.
Pro joint account.
Like before marriage or after?
I'd say after, unless you're like 100% sure you know this person.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's a transition, I think.
right.
I think, we've all had our own bank accounts and finances, and you're accountable to only yourself for so long.
Yeah.
And then you might end up in a relationship, and then it's a long-term relationship. And sometimes just like going on a holiday
Right.
might force that decision for you to go into a joint bank account, because you might be putting holiday savings and together or something. Like it could be a practical thing,
Right.
rather than just an emotional thing.
Could be a good training, before you get married as well. Yeah.
Practice.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
So when you have a joint bank account, can you still have you can have as many accounts as you want, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're saying you have a joint bank account, that doesn't mean that you just
Get rid of the
load
rest.
all your money into this one account
That's right.
leave everything, right?
Yeah.
With
That's why I think it's a transition.
Right.
Because like, if you're talking about pre-marriage, people will have most of their money in their own bank accounts.
Yep.
And then maybe a little bit of money in the joint account.
Yep.
And then when you get married, it slowly transitions really quickly to the other way.
Yeah.
Where most of your money is in the joint account.
Yep.
Because my dollar's your dollar.
Yep.
And then you've got a little bit of money in your personal account.
Yep. Was that easy for you guys to have that conversation with your partners? And
Yeah, I think I'm fortunate with my wife or my girlfriend back then. We just think the same. She's Malaysian, I'm Malaysian, so we kind of have the same cultural background.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same parenting, upbringing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours was like a practical thing. Again, we moved bank.
Right.
When we bought the house.
Yep.
So when we moved bank, I was like, well, I don't want to have to log into here and there.
Yeah.
So we just used the joint account.
Yeah, I think getting a mortgage is a big catalyst, you know, like it forces you to have a joint bank account together and do an application with a bank and put a mortgage under both of your names. Yeah. So you immediately need a joint bank account anyway to pay the mortgage.
Yeah. If you structure it that way.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't have joint bank accounts? Do you want to talk about like the poll you took?
Yeah. So interestingly, so I did a poll on Instagram probably a couple months back.
Yeah.
So that question is, should you have a joint bank account or a separate bank account in a marriage after post-marriage? And just knowing, you know, I'm from Asian, you know, background where it was like, oh, your money's my money, you know, what's mine's yours. So the statistic is 50-50. Oh, sorry, 60-40.
Yeah.
60 being people pro having a joint bank account. And 40 is saying like, no, you should have a separate bank account, which is quite interesting. Yeah.
It's a simple question though.
Yeah.
It was should you or shouldn't you? Whereas I think a blend is the right answer.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you guys have? Like, can you take us through the structure? Like if I was to set up, let's say a joint bank account.
So I still have the same bank account my parents opened when I was a little kid.
Right.
I had a look at the date of when the bank account was actually opened.
Yeah.
And some strange reason it's opened like 6 months before I was born.
Yeah.
So you can't even do that now. Yeah. So I still have that same bank account. Yeah.
You can't like open bank accounts for your kids or anything like that?
No, not until they're born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like if you're trying to save for a kid, you just open...
It's your own account. Yeah.
Okay.
Your parents are onto it, man. Yeah. Before you were born.
Life must have been simpler back then. Just walk up to the bank the old days.
Yeah, there's no AML and ID checks and million forms to sign.
So I still have that bank account. That's like my main personal bank account.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of money goes in there each fortnight. And Cal's got her own personal bank account. A little bit of money goes into there each fortnight. And then everything else is in the joint bank account. Then there's a company accounts and stuff like that, but that's all business stuff. So it's like...
Yeah.
She doesn't need to see that anyway.
Yeah.
Unless she's part of it.
Right.
I think, are you similar?
No, we don't have we have a personal bank account, but we don't use it much.
Yeah.
It's only for like, you know, odd stuff if we want to hide presents from each other, I guess. Yeah, buying a big gift. So we have a trust, you know, trust pays for the mortgage. We've got a management company, so our income goes there. So before I became a director, my salary actually went to our joint bank account, both of our salary. But now I couldn't structure it that way because I got a separate company. So my income goes there. I plan all my taxes for the next 12 months. Say, look, I should leave this amount of tax for GST income tax, and all my OPEX for the next month. And everything else goes back into a joint bank account.
Right.
So that's basically our pool of money that we could use.
Yeah.
And then from the joint bank account, we separate out into our fund money. So we go, $100 a week for your entertainment. Right. They go into your personal and they go into my personal.
Yeah.
Everything else is like our money. Yeah. What we could do for it.
Yeah. Mine's the same. It kind of ends up together. Everything's together. And then you get a little bit to do.
Distribute it out.
With your, whatever you want to do with your little pittance for the week, go and do that. If you run out, good luck.
Guilty pleasure there, I guess.
Yeah. But to be honest, like if we run out or whatever, like you just swipe the joint card like it's not.
Yeah, we talk about it. We wouldn't buy something more than $500 or $100 without talking about it. No one's going to go buy a Porsche tomorrow, and turn up. Yeah.
That's the important thing, I think, is the trust aspect. Because even though you might be like jointly bound financially, nothing is actually stopping you from going to the bank or buying a car or buying a house all on your own anyway. Yeah. There's nothing that stops you from doing that.
Yeah.
So it's a high trust environment. If all your money's together, that's one way to make sure that like in your head, like mindset wise, whenever you're making financial decisions, even if it's like buy a new pair of shoes or buy a new car, you're doing it together.
Yeah.
Because you can have people who have a bad relationship with money and they can't change without support because they just don't know how.
Yeah.
Right. People who are just spending hard on credit cards or just always forever had an overdraft on their account since tertiary days.
Yeah.
Like, like how do you change behavior unless you actually change?
Yeah.
So I think that's a real practical reason to have a joint account.
Yeah. And you shouldn't go into a marriage before you know these things. You know, dating, engaged, marriage, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't date for like 2 days and be like, let's get married.
Yeah.
You know, you should use that time to really find out about the other person.
Yeah.
Know their habits, know their story about money, their relationship with money as well. Each people are different, you know. It gives you the opportunity to like lay it out on the table and say, hey, look, I think you're spending about much there, you know, let's just tone it back so we can work together. If they say nah, then, you know.
Yeah. Well, finances, remember, is the second main reason for divorce.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Behind cheating.
Like financial problems.
Yeah.
Behind cheating, yeah. So like, why would you not just fix it before you get into a relationship?
Yeah.
No, so for major part, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. I know a couple of people who they're like okay having, like they're married and they're okay having their own accounts.
That's fine too. Like there's there's no one size fit all.
Yeah, for sure.
Whichever works. Yeah. We're just speaking from our experience.
And then having that like mutual understanding that you're not gonna go blow it out on like.
But they've got maximum trust, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, you go and enjoy whatever you want, but at the end of the day, if you got to look after like your family, your kids, or your house, and you know, you got to be there to do that as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys pay like the bills, or do you guys do that together? Or
no, we do it together from the joint bank account.
Yeah, it's all direct debit though these days, you know, like.
Oh right.
But it all comes out of the joint account.
Yeah. Because my mum's so old school, she still gets like the online bills and whatever, and she transfers it, and you know, and so like I've kind of grown up where my mum, man, she like still keeps receipts and stuff for like even just like a coffee, like anything.
Oh,
like she'll go through and like make sure it's like, because she also worked in the bank like way back, you know, and so she still keeps all the receipts and she'll check through and be like, oh yeah, I spent that much, and tick it off the like the
bank statement,
the statement,
the credit card statement.
She goes through every month. She'll do like an accounts thing where she'll check everything, and then she knows where all the money is, you know.
Trust no one.
My dad's just like, yo, I'm just enjoying life. He's like sitting on this end of the couch and he's just like, cool, she's doing that, you know.
But that's good. That's accountability, right?
Yeah.
She'll come to a bill. I'm like, oh, what's this $500 at Nike? You know,
she's done that. She's done that. You know, every time like if my dad makes a purchase, she's just like, yo, what's this?
But that's good. It's accountability, right? Same with any businesses, any friendships, any relationships. Accountability is a massive factor. You know, before you swipe that card, you think about it. Oh, is my wife going to look at the bill, or you know, or should I talk to my wife first before spending that $500 at Nike? You know, that's all really important.
Yeah. It's common for even if you have a joint account, for someone to take the lead,
right?
Like your mum's taking the lead. I suppose I roughly take the lead in our one.
Is that because you come from like an accounting background that you've?
Yeah, I think so. Like whoever's got the most knowledge in it, I suppose, should be the one to lead it. It's just like business, right? You're not going to hire somebody who doesn't have the knowledge. So, like in our house, we jokingly call Cal the house CFO.
Right.
And so she has, if it's to do with the house, like she's managing that side of it.
Yeah.
But we all make all the strategic decisions together.
Yeah.
And the banking relationships I will handle.
Yeah.
But the day to day, she's got it sorted.
Yeah, but I guess they still include one another into any decisions, right? Like even though I manage all the budgeting and forecast in our bank account, I've got a software, you know, that I run every quarter, just to keep track on, you know, how much we should spend, how much we did spend, you know.
Oh, man.
But I always sit down with my wife and say, look, this is how much we spend on eating out.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cut back a bit.
Right.
And we both make it a goal for us. You know, you're on the same team.
Yeah. Goals is huge.
Yeah.
That's why I like a joint account.
Right.
I don't know personally how people can hit a common goal if they don't have a joint or common
if they can't
account.
see the same.
If you can't see
where you want to get to, right? Yeah.
Unless you get a weekly or monthly report, you know, which people don't do.
Someone's got a bullshit spreadsheet. Just making stuff up. Like, like for us, it was all about goals, and mostly like house stuff. You know, like you're gonna buy a house, you need to know that the money's going there and there's no frivolous spending. Because you're working towards a common goal, or the goal might be to go on a holiday and you can't book anything until you've got the $5,000 or whatever, you know, like it's
just being transparent, I think. Being transparent is a major part. You said that you guys bought a house before
marriage.
My mom don't like that.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
Well, we've been dating for 3 years at that time.
Right.
And I kind of knew I was going to marry her.
Okay.
Yeah. So we saw a house. We knew about property investing.
Yeah.
And we knew that, we had to get in early. This was back in 2013.
Right.
The boom was already happening in 2012. So we're like, look, we got to get in.
Yeah.
I've got some savings. She got some savings. Why don't we just buy a house in Manariwa?
Yeah.
Because you can't do it on your own at that age,
you can't.
right?
No.
So if you're already bonded with this person.
Yep.
Like, and if you've got a goal each separately to own a house one day, why not just come together at that point and do it?
Yeah.
Because even if you broke up at that point, you can still divide the assets. It's no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too emotionally.
Yeah. I've already kind of lived with her because she flats herself. So I just pop over like once a week or a couple of times a week. Yeah. And so we know that we could live together, we'll share our chores and things like that. So it's got like a testing phase before we actually move in and go deep.
Is that like, were your parents okay with that? Like even you guys flatting
I had
and,
to talk with them. So my mom was like, oh, you're not married. I don't think you should do it.
Yeah. Like, is this buying the house or like living together? And
I think both. Yeah, both.
Right.
Buying the house.
Vinay, did you ever flat or move out of home?
I'd moved out of home into my house and then was planning on getting flatmates.
Yeah.
And then just couldn't be bothered.
Okay.
I just don't think I can live with anyone else.
Yeah.
And we were doing long distance at the time.
Right.
So Cal moved back up to Auckland and then moved into my place. So she was like my flatmate.
Yeah.
For a while. And that was just weird. Like it was just weird for us. So being a pro property person, I was like, look, you don't have property at this stage. We can do this. Why don't we just buy a house together?
Right.
And move?
Yeah.
And so we did that.
Okay. Yeah.
They say that you should get married, then get a mortgage, and then have kids.
Right.
In that order.
Yeah.
But we got the mortgage, then got married.
Yeah.
Then had kids. So like, I don't know. It's modern world these days. Like,
yeah. But just thinking about it, if we didn't buy the house in Manariwa for $600K back then, it's worth like $900,000 now.
Yeah.
We couldn't have bought our second house.
Right.
Or me buying into the business because I wouldn't have enough equity.
Yeah.
So it's looking back now, it's the best decision that we ever made. Yeah.
That's the practical side of like individual goal setting, and then you're having two people there and you just do it together and you buy the house. Like if you've got a mate right now, let's say, and you both just know you want to buy a rental property, but you can't do it on your own.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you two both go? Let's say you both want to buy in the same area and are looking on the same street.
Yeah.
It's just silly not to.
Yeah.
If you can stay unemotional about it.
I guess in the off chance, if you do break up with your girlfriend, at least you both walk away with $50K each. I guess you know it's not the end of the world. It does get a bit messy. But we kind of went into it knowing that we're going to marry each other. So we've got that
understanding
trust.
was already there. It's mutual and
Coughing fit.
This guy. What about so if someone was to set up a joint bank account, what would they do?
Like how to do it?
How do you do it?
Bring the bank.
You just go to the bank and say, look, we want to start a joint bank account.
Yeah.
They'll get you fill in the form, you put them together, get your IDs, AML check. And that's it. You get access to your online banking. So let's say you're using ASB.
Yeah.
For your personal, normal and savings.
Yeah.
It'll just be loaded under your thing. So it's not too hard.
So it's just like another account. Really.
It's just admin. Yeah.
I think that if you're going to do that, that's a great time to draw a line in the sand and be like, how can I do this better? Like having one bank account. I'm a bit OCD, but like having one bank account for me just wouldn't work. Like,
do you mean like one bank account as in this is the joint and this is mine and that's it? You don't have any other accounts, right? So you pull all your money into this pool or into this pool.
Yeah, that's right.
But what you're saying is you have like heaps of pools.
Yeah, some savings.
I call them buckets.
Money.
Cool, buckets. Okay, buckets is good.
My pool's not big enough.
Come on, man, you got to think big.
Infinity pools.
Start turning into pools. Like so we've changed ours several times over the years.
Right.
We have a main spending account. We have we used to have a travel account. We used to have a house account. We have like an emergency account.
Yep.
So like if any money goes in there, you can't touch it. I can't really remember what else there is, but it's all kind of changed with COVID and all that now. And if you make a different financial decision and you're like scraping the barrel for every dollar, like we just siphon it out of everywhere and dump it into the investment.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, you have to have the conversation, right?
And a plan as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we've literally just done that. And Alister was just saying before, like we might make a decision at work,
right,
that we're going to go and do this investment together. And then we go home, we're like, oh, hey, we've made this decision.
Yeah. We actually put an action plan, talk to our wives, all 5 of us.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like there's like not 5 directors, but like 10 directors.
Yeah, there is.
Well, if the other guys have wives or partners, but.
Yeah, and I think from our point of view, because we understand the difference between like director and shareholder.
Right.
So like there's 5 directors, but in our view, there's 10 shareholders.
Yeah.
We're doing this not for just us, but as a partnership for our home life,
Yeah.
So if we're making decisions, it should be.
Should include our wives.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I appreciate how you guys are able to have those conversations, because so many people struggle just to even talk about money. And like we said last time, like if there's a discrepancy, like if your significant other earns far more than you do, like sometimes you feel a little inferior or
100%
insecure about that, and then to have conversations about that too, where you're like, I don't earn as much, but like,
I think power play is a pretty toxic factor in a relationship.
Yeah.
So when someone, it can be a guy or girl, someone might be a CEO, someone might be earning just a normal wage.
Yep.
Say, look, I'm earning 300K, you're earning 50K. Let's put our expenses, the expenses are 50K, let's put in 25K into our joint bank account and everything else is separate. Right. So if she wants to buy a nice little gift for her mum for, $2,000. He's like, oh, you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Well, that's power play, and he'll make decisions that she have no say of just because he has more money. And that's a really toxic way of having a relationship.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen before, even with clients and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We see it all the time with clients.
Yeah.
You'll be so surprised at how bad business people are at looking after money.
Right.
In this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just, well, for one, they treat everything in the business as their own. So that's the first mistake. You have to separate it, right? But once it's separated, they think, oh, well, I earned this from my business, and so I'm going to handle it that way.
Yeah.
And if you treat all the money in the business as your own, let's say one person's a business owner, one person is still earns a good wage. Let's say they're on 100K or something, 150, I don't know. But let's just say they are. This person goes to work 5 days a week, gets a salary. The other person might be like, business is doing well, I'm going to go buy a car and finance.
Yeah.
And I'll put it through the business.
Right.
This person doesn't really get a say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
ultimately that affects them. Yeah. So you can easily make personal decisions and kind of hide it away.
Yeah.
And the company be like, it's just business. Really easy to do.
Yeah. It comes onto your personality as well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to remove yourself from it, And it's not you. Is that what you guys are trying to say as well?
Yeah. It's not just you. And that's why we always say purpose, people, profit.
Right.
What is your purpose?
Yeah.
Because if your purpose is just to make money, then you're going to be really selfish with the money when it comes.
Yeah.
And not really worry about the people so much. And you're probably never looking at the profit. You're just, I had a client who she ran quite a successful business on the shore, and through about 4 years, she changed cars twice, and she went from just a run-of-the-mill car to a Porsche, and then went to a Porsche Cayenne, the SUV, and her husband ran a contracting business as well. So they were both in business.
Yeah.
But his business wasn't really making as much money as hers. So hers was making, I think, $500,000 a year profit, something like that. And so she could afford it in her eyes. But he's cruising around, and I shit you not, in a Toyota, those old bubble vans?
Yeah.
Do you remember those bubble vans? I can't remember what they were called. They weren't, I can't remember what they were called. But he would cruise around in that.
Yeah.
It's like, how does this work? You got a Porsche in the driveway and this like $3,000 Toyota.
Yeah. There's a lot of me and you going on, I guess. Yeah. Even like I've seen the client the worst, like you get worse when you go after the wealthness change.
Right.
He's got 50 million in his trust account that the wife knows nothing about. 50 million.
Like 50.
Yeah. Yeah. And we manage all the investments in there. It's in different countries, different properties and things. And one day the wife found out after they had 3 kids. It got pretty ugly. So he had to pay her like 5 million cash to put in a separate trust for her to kind of shut up, I guess. Yeah. They're still together. But what kind of relationship is that? Yeah.
So what was happening with the money?
You mean the 50 million?
Yeah.
No, it's just in his trust. It was set up by his dad like before they even got married.
But he just wasn't transparent with her and open.
Didn't know about it. Yeah,
this is,
Yeah.
See, like, that comes down to the goals thing, right?
Yeah.
What if she had all these goals that...
Yeah.
And all he had to do was put in a little bit of money or something, and he's starved her of that for however many years.
Yeah. Oh, she definitely know he's wealthy, but she just don't know how much.
Yeah, but she might want to buy an airline business.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
she might have, like you guys
like a big goal.
Yeah, she might have ways of turning that, if she knew there was 50 million
That's
into
right,
100 million.
right. Yeah.
But like this dude's just got it tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like opening a t-shirt shop.
Yeah.
So she might want to buy a mall. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that, I don't suggest at all.
Right.
In a relationship. But, there's different people.
I think it's important though, if we're talking about pre-relationship money, if this was his dad's money, like generational wealth, he's probably right in protecting it.
Yeah, 100%. I think she should have the right to know about it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look, this is, in our trust before we got married, but this is how much it is, but you can't touch it.
He probably didn't want to raise the prenup thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Should we move into that?
Yeah.
The prenup.
Yeah. What is it? Section 92?
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah.
We always get phones
from
clients that, I'm just going through a section, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, yeah.
Do you guys just want to explain what a prenup is so we're all on the same?
Yeah, well, it's short for prenuptial agreement.
Right.
So before you sign your nuptials, get married.
Yeah.
Essentially, it says, I own this before we get married. And if we separate, that's still mine.
Yeah. It's not always about money, by the way. It's just an agreement before you get married to say what happens if we part ways or what happens in our relationship. It can have a post-nuptial as well.
Right.
So if you really put a ring on it, and then you're like, I think I should, put my house away because my dad bought it for me. Yeah. Then you can have a post-nuptial agreement.
Yeah.
But so you can still agree at any point in time. Yeah. Oh, that was yours 3 years ago, so I don't want any of that.
But the conversations are hard, these are sensitive stuff. Imagine you just got married, you're on your honeymoon. It's like, hey, babe, I've got $50 million of cash that you can't have. Do you want to just sign this piece of paper? How's that going to go?
I think if it's 50 million, it's a really different conversation.
It's exaggerating.
But still, like, Auckland is really hard to buy a house in, right? So let's say, I don't know, you're 25 and you have 2 houses or like a quarter of 2 houses because you've made some investments with some friends or something. Do you want to protect that? I suppose.
I think that's where it kind of comes between, like, there's that blend or that blurring space between transaction and a personal relationship. Like if you prioritize a personal relationship and your relationship with this person over this asset or this house, and like, I want to be like you're the person, or I don't think about money in this way. Money's just a thing.
Yep.
Then maybe we don't need that prenup.
100%.
Whereas like if your priority is like, if money is a priority, then I don't know. I think it also depends on the situation as well. Like I feel like if for the type of person that I am, if going into a relationship and I was given like a money or a house.
Let's say you're Elon Musk, Yeah. Yeah. Would you sign one?
I don't think so, because I would hope that the person that I am marrying and the person that I choose to be with.
Yep.
I'd hope that I hope that I would choose someone that I know that would share the same value as me.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so they wouldn't see money and all that. And
that's why before you get married,
differently from me.
From you, yeah.
We both see it the same way, that money doesn't control us and it's not going to make or break this relationship. We're more than that.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But what if it was something that wasn't money that broke the relationship? Like something else. Like if you're saying don't let money break the relationship.
Yeah.
Money at the end of the day is like an asset, right? You own it, and you might own it as a couple. But let's say, I don't know, for whatever reason you break up.
Yeah.
Your families don't like it. One's a Hindu and one's a Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay? Your families hate each other.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you guys own something together. That's going to have to get split. So how's it going to get split? You know?
True.
And if things turn toxic, then, and we see it all the time.
But isn't there still a conversation before you even get to marrying or
I think so, yeah.
you know,
that's why when you're
know,
dating, when you're, boyfriends and girlfriends or your partners, you have to lay it down on the ground. Yeah. Put the foundation right before you actually put a ring on it.
Because what's your guys' point of view on a prenup? Are you for it? Are you pro or against?
I think the more money there is and the more generational wealth it is, the more right you have to protect it. That's my personal view.
Yeah.
Just based on experience.
So with your wife, would you sign one?
If she had if she was really, really rich and her family had heaps of assets, I'd be happy to sign one.
Okay.
We came from nothing. So if I walk away with nothing, what's it to me, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have any, and we had this conversation. She was like, I had no involvement in you buying that house. So whatever, anything happens to us, that house is yours. Like,
right.
Sometimes you don't even need a prenup, you know? It's
just mutual understanding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I've just sold that house.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the money? It's literally just going to go boom into the joint account.
Yeah.
So like now it's no longer mine, you know?
Yeah.
It's become joint after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had heaps of conversations about money.
Yeah.
Right.
Same with me and my wife as well. Yeah. I think it's situational. I'm kind of for you, your choice. So I'm not for a prenup. You know, I feel like if you're both together, you should share the same values. You know, what's mine is yours.
Yeah.
But it's very situational. So let me give you this one situation. A young girl, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Just finished high school. Very bright. Had his high school sweetheart boyfriend. Dated for 2 years. So at 21, she started an app company. Let's say she started Tinder. All right. She made millions of dollars and she's driving every day. And he just has a mediocre job. He didn't go to college. He worked at Pizza Hut, right? 2 years later, when she's successful, he cheated on her, right? And because by then, let's say they got married at 19, he cheated on her, left with another chick, and he's asking for 50% of her shares in Tinder. Is that fair for her? Then?
Yeah.
Should she have signed a prenup before they got married?
How would she have even known though?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
messy,
but
right?
that's why you have to be really careful.
Whoa.
So that's where prenup can really protect, some young individuals or even, your second or third marriages where you want to protect your own kids.
Right.
Yeah, let's say you remarried at 40 and you have 2 kids with your previous wife. I think at that point you should sign a prenup.
Yeah.
To say, look, this is my wealth with my family that should go to my kids. And then whatever we start ourselves in a new relationship. Yeah.
I think the word prenup is
such a taboo word, eh?
Yeah, it's been tainted over so many years by so many movies and sitcoms and stuff, you know? And so like we don't use that as terminology in the office.
Right.
We use relationship agreement or property agreement.
Cool.
To just kind of remove that negativity up front.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like this property exists. Let's just talk about whose it is from a practical point of view. And so we dumb it down sometimes and we're like, oh, we just need to know.
Yeah.
So we will force people to have the conversation in front of us.
Yep.
To be like, oh yeah, so that was the date we bought it. This is the owner on the title. Or I have this investment over there and he's got this over here. and then we've actually all talked about it, and now I've written it all down.
Yeah,
and it's there somewhere.
It's documented.
It's documented. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing, but they've just talked about it. Nothing's like,
don't say prenup or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah.
I think it's a generational thing as well.
Right.
Back then our parents get married at an average of 20, 25, pretty young, right? And nowadays people are getting married, I'd say in their mid-30s at times, you know, getting kids, getting into homes. So they've got plenty of time during that 10 years to actually build up wealth as well.
Yeah.
So both people might meet at 35, and one guy or one lady might have more wealth than the other. And just saying, look, what if someone's already a CEO of a tech company that they just want to protect that asset? Yeah. But I guess it comes down to trust as well, right? Like, do I trust you to divorce me and take half of my shares? You know, it's very, very
like
sensitive.
intention and do you guys find the truest like version of people when it comes to start talking about money? And
I think we're pretty lucky with our client base, eh?
Yeah.
We have like a unsaid no dickhead policy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so like we won't work with dickheads. So if someone's in a boardroom and being a dick to their partner, it's not really a client of ours. It's not really going to work.
Yeah, I tone them down, you know. Like,
Like we're pretty practical people.
Yep.
And if they can't see the practicalities of it, or they're like, nah, your spending habits are terrible. I'm not signing it, or whatever.
Yeah, it just won't align with our company values as well. Yeah.
Exactly right. People and then purpose.
Yeah.
And then profit.
We always focus on the purpose first, and that's why people stuff up purpose.
Right. So it's purpose first then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because an individual will have a purpose, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, then hopefully there's some money left at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting because like for so long, my thinking around like prenups or like you're saying relationship agreements or property agreements has always been like my thinking's just changed as we're speaking about it, you know, where it's like, nah, actually, if you had come from a previous relationship or like you worked your ass off to get this thing like a house or a car, and then you just meet someone, you know.
Yeah.
But then I'm always like, nah, but like if you know yourself and you know the type of person you want to be is this, you know, and that's where that mutual thing comes in, and then
that's why I think it's about generational, fixing the generational thing. So in Auckland, heaps of mums and dads have to help their kids buy property, right?
My parents did. They helped me.
So if the deposit is coming from your parents, whichever way that happens, and you're in a relationship, I would say that you have an obligation to protect your parents' investment into you.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go, oh yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because your parents have just spent the last 50 years in a country where they had to work their asses off twice as hard.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So surely we have an obligation to protect that.
Right.
So I think there's, like I said before, a practical thing. Like you have to be practical sometimes. And a hard conversation might have to be had.
Yeah.
We're buying this house, we get to live in it, but it's because my parents gave us the deposit.
Yeah. I think in your case, it's a good example where you're still together, you sold that house now, but that money goes towards both of you now. So it's not really me and you.
Yeah.
It's ours, but if you do anything bad to our relationship, it goes back to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of protection.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
From an accounting point of view.
Yeah. Not a legal perspective.
Or a legal perspective, right? That money is obviously going to say it's mine.
Yeah.
But they're going to be like, what bank account do you want to put it in? I'll be like, this one. That's the joint one.
Yeah.
So it automatically becomes both of yours. And that's where the lines get really blurred really quickly.
Yep.
Because from a simplicity point of view, just put it into that account so we can use it together.
Yep.
But if you were to actually document it and process it properly, it would show that I put it into the joint account.
Right.
Yeah, go to your bank account first and then put it in. Right?
Yeah, that would be the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But at this point, if we broke up, there's a kid. Like I would almost want her to take everything. Yeah. I'll start again from
But unfortunately,
scratch.
some people don't think that way, right?
True.
Yeah, you've seen some people where they just take everything and leave them with nothing. which is horrible.
I haven't seen it as much as I thought I would in my career.
Do you reckon it's just glamorized from like
From
what we see in the
Hollywood
news
films and
and
things.
the
Yeah.
movies and
I've seen a couple.
Yeah,
in
so
my
I
lifetime.
haven't. I've always seen a pragmatic approach to a separation. Always.
Yeah.
There was only one that went on for a couple of years where one of the partners insisted that a piece of art was theirs because she knew that it was the husband's favorite piece of art. You know, so
So
it's not
much
even
ego,
talking
eh?
about.
Oh wow,
It's not even talking about money.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he wanted that. That was his favorite piece of art.
just kicking the teeth. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else was equal. Shared, boom, 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 shared up.
Yeah.
But I want that piece of art.
It's
Hit it where it hurts,
more
you know?
underlying
Yeah,
issues
yeah.
than you know, in that.
Mm.
Yeah, they'd grow their whole life together, right?
Yeah.
And then separated. It must have been like 50, 55, something like that.
Just before, while we were talking about the cars, you know, and the wife having, you know, the fancy Porsche and the husband having the Toyota.
The bubble van.
Yeah.
The solid trolley.
What is your guys? What's your view on cars? Is it like
We're the worst examples to talk about.
like you guys
That's
will drive like a tin can and you're all good with that, or are you guys like
We
nah,
used to
the
drive a tin
status
can.
and-
Yeah, yeah.
If
It's-
we're
How has that changed for like your thinking, if it has?
if we're strapped and like for cash or whatever, if we're doing it tough, I would make a family decision to be like, I got to pig it back, because we're both guilty of spending too much money on our own car, and mind you, you guys have a shared car, right?
Yeah, we just share a car. Yeah.
So and Cal's got her car.
Yeah.
But it's like, would a car make her happy? No.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if it did, then by all means, she could pretty much go out and buy a car to the same value as mine, and it should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in this thing together.
Yep.
But cars aren't her thing, so maybe she spends money elsewhere.
Right.
But yeah.
But yeah, segue into that, relationship shouldn't be about one-upping another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be like, oh, you got a Porsche Cayenne, I want a Porsche Cayenne too.
Yeah.
If you have that mentality, you always play catch up, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got a nice shoe. Yeah, I want that shoe too.
Right.
You spend $500 at Nike, I want to spend $500 at Adidas.
Yeah.
So you keep one-upping each other, even though you're on the same team. So you never actually achieve your goals.
Yeah.
We've seen that
Yeah, yeah.
as well.
Right.
Like, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because sounds like from an external point of view, you have a common goal, but you don't. You actually,
Just trying to
Yeah.
compete.
How many times you heard that, like, oh, babe, you bought that. I want to buy this now, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes
Yeah.
you say it for
Yeah.
fun, you know, if it's $100 things, but we wouldn't use it all the time, you know?
to be fair, you know how you've raised the car.
Yeah.
So when I got my car last year, the very first, so mine was a goal thing, right? Like for like 10 years, start the business, I'm going to get this car. So that was what drove me for 10 years. Cool. Everyone's like to Cal, hey, so Vinay got a new car. Are you getting a new car? Like
Right.
when's
Yeah,
your new
yeah,
car
yeah.
coming?
Yeah.
Even though it's like a joke
And-
sometimes, you know?
and
or-
she's-
yeah.
I can't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you
They're listening, man.
Series, man. This stuff's crazy, eh?
They're
Alright,
listening,
cool.
man.
Yeah. They're always listening.
Yeah. So they were like, she eventually, after like the fourth or fifth or sixth person said it, was like, why do I need to buy a car because he bought a car?
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy with my car.
Yep.
Mm.
Like, why? That's the whole one-upping
yeah,
thing.
it's a
Imagine if we bought
society
two
thing.
cars. Right, that would be broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How about for you guys? Is it?
Yeah, we share a car.
Right.
So it's easy,
Okay.
you know, like say, hey, babe, you know, we use that car. We used a tin can before, you know,
Yeah.
so a Honda Civic and
Yeah.
a Honda Accords.
You guys
yeah.
don't. Yeah. So you guys don't see like, as directors, you need to be driving like. Top
Oh, it's
dog
definitely
cars
got
or
me
anything?
sales. I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
People's
like-
solution. yeah.
I don't think it's a status thing. For me, it's like maintaining standards and presentation.
Cool.
And also setting an example.
Yeah.
If I'm cruising around in a tin can and I rock up to a meeting, how does that give that business owner confidence that I know what I'm doing?
Right.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
But do I need to drive a brand new car that's the best spec? And, you know, like, no. But presentation is important. Like, our cars are always clean, for example.
Yep.
Not because we want to clean the car, but it's presentation and standards.
Yeah, if someone see, if you can't even clean your car, you're going to clean my set of accounts. You know?
Right.
So,
yeah.
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 True.
People always ask that question. I don't think it's about status.
Yeah.
But perception, humans, whether you like it or not, people perceive, based on the book value.
Yeah.
So I remember about 5 years ago, a client said to me, "You just changed your car. Like, how did you do it? Man, you're in business and you don't know how to buy a car?
Yep.
Like,
How do you buy a car?
Your boy, rock up and pay cash or get finance, like
or lease it.
Or lease it. There's so many ways, but if you're in business, you have to know. Like
Google's your best friend.
Yeah. The school of Google.
On YouTube as well. Like before I bought my car, I actually YouTube like, what is it better to, put on a 10-year lease, a 5-year lease, or even finance it for 3 years, or even own it outright. So what's the opportunity cost of owning it outright? Right, money's cheap these days. Interest is only 5%, or for good finance, 5% on a car, on a brand new one. But could you make more money with that same dollar that you save? Opportunity costs.
So that's where our advisory piece comes in a lot at work.
Right.
That's why people ask us. Like, I'm going to buy a car. I've made the decision.
Yeah.
How should I do it?
Yeah.
And that's when we come in and go, okay, like your options are pay cash and own it outright, or finance it here or finance it there, or there's like 10 different ways to finance a car.
Yeah.
And so we'll make that decision together to make sure that it's a financial decision that's going to get the right outcome over 1, 2, 3 years. Usually it's not like, oh, you hate debt, so pay cash.
Yeah.
We will always challenge people to look at all the options before they make a decision.
Yeah, the worst car buying decision is looking at the weekly amount.
Right.
When you rock in the dealership, say, it's a 50 grand Subaru WRX, but it's only $200 a week, So they see that $200 a week and they say, sweet, I'll buy it because I can afford it.
And then they're locked in.
But what's the consequence? What's the number behind the $200 a week? It can be a 10-year lease. It can be a 10-year finance on 15% interest rates, So just knowing and understanding, digging a bit further, Google if you have to, and just really understand what you're signing up for.
When it becomes a status thing, that's the mistake people make.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's only this much a week or a month.
Yeah, they'll lease it.
Yeah.
They don't see the value. So we never buy brand new cars.
Right.
Because we see a depreciation on them.
Yeah.
The moment you drive out the parking lot, you lose 20%.
Yeah.
You buy $100 grand car, it becomes 80 grand tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you drive it home.
Yeah, I bought a brand new car.
No, it's not.
But the one before.
Oh, the one before.
Yeah. But it's like you got to weigh up. So luckily, I'm good with numbers.
Yeah.
So like,
true.
And my wife knows that I will literally sit there for 6 months before I make a decision on something that big.
Yeah.
And she knows I've been through every iteration, every finance thing, every cash. Like, I've just looked at it all. She knows. Okay, you've talked about it enough. I'm sick of
hearing
that.
Trust, right?
Yeah.
And
me just going bing, 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 and her ears every day. Hey, I want this. I want this. Grinding it down.
I think before I bought my car now, I looked at it for 6 months.
Yeah, easy.
Spreadsheets. I got 4 spreadsheets going on and comparing prices and finances and things like that. And so we definitely thought it through. It's not just you rock up and I feel like buying a car today and just impulse buy it. Yeah. Let's have a plan.
Remember, we're in business too, so we get a deduction.
Yep.
Like this, the Porsche and Toyota scenario. If someone's on a really good wage and buys a Porsche, and someone's in business and makes the same wage and buys a Porsche, this person's Porsche is a lot cheaper.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding those things is important.
Yep.
In a relationship.
Yep. Yeah. Would you guys recommend like offsetting through business?
Yeah, of course.
Always.
Yeah, if it's legal, If you use it for businesses, obviously.
Yeah.
Like we drive around and see our clients all the time.
Yeah.
So we get a percentage of it to claim.
I always say to people, tax minimization is legal, tax avoidance is not. So if you're blatantly avoiding tax, go to another accountant. But if you want to minimize your tax legally, then by all means, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and we know so many ways to do it properly.
Yeah. Sweet. This was good. This has given me a lot to think about. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about today?
I think it just comes back to, like, if we're talking about relationships and money. Yeah. Money is one of the 4 factors that I work on, like we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Health, wealth, love, happiness. So if money or wealth is one of those 4, don't forget that there's 3 others as well that you got to talk about, and you should be nailing all 4. We call them quadrants. Before you're getting married or before you're going into a relationship, while you're in a relationship, that's what you should be working towards, right? You can't just be focused on money, property, assets, this and that.
Yeah.
It's got to be holistic. So we used to have a monthly dinner we'd go to, and we would talk about our financial goals, but we would be having fun too because we're out at dinner, right?
Yeah.
And like the whole love thing, because, we're there spending time together.
Yeah.
So that nicely fits a couple of those quadrants together. But if you're like every day emailing and texting your partner and being like, hey, what's this money? Like, why'd you spend this? Like, I don't check our credit card bill.
Yeah.
Like, because I have trust.
Yeah.
But if the money was going out the door, or, it's just, you got to be holistic rather than just fixated on financial goals.
Imagine coming home every day and your wife just sitting there in the dark room. It's like, babe, you spent $50 at warehouse today, and $100 at I Love Ugly. Why? And it just creates that pressure. You don't need that. You just need trust, and have that.
Like, I would hate it if Cal was like, you got to stop buying your lunch. It's costing too much. I'd be like, what? Like, that's just so micro.
Yeah.
For me.
Yep.
I'd be like, it saves me so much time during the day. It gives me happiness. I get to try different food. I get to support new market businesses.
Yep.
I get to go in and check on different businesses as well. Like, I work with a lot of hospitality clients. So naturally, I want to go and try different cafes and stuff.
Yep.
So there's like a bigger, wider thing for me buying lunch. It's not just, I'm buying lunch because it tastes good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my job too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But if it's really affecting your lifestyle, say someone loves to eat out like every day, foodie, and your wife say, you can't eat out at all, it will affect their relationship a lot.
Yeah.
So what you could
it
do
comes
in
down
that,
to a core value, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So what comes into that is like, look, instead of cutting back on all your spending, why don't you try and make some more money, right?
Yeah.
So you have the same goal, you still enjoy what you like, but you solve that problem.
Yeah.
So why don't we start a side hustle, do some drop shipping on Amazon, and make more money so I can spend $1,000 more a month. Yeah. That's a solution too. Yeah. Don't just focus on that nitty gritty. Yeah.
If you guys had one positive action from everything we've talked about today, what would it be?
Don't cheat on your partners. That being said, and money, like Vinay said, is the second course of divorce, money and relationships.
Yeah.
So definitely look after that. Whether you like it or not, make a good plan. Lay it down with your boyfriends or girlfriends or partner at that time, and before you sign that marriage certificate, just be transparent, trust each other.
Yeah.
Mine's all about just talking about it and then planning together. Making sure that it's transparent. You can see, like, you'll be surprised how many couples don't know how much each other are in.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Do you know how much your partner is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't.
I know, and she knows how much I earn, and we talk about, like, because we're getting married next year, right? So, and then I've got the house.
And she knows about too.
And she knows about that too.
That's awesome.
And we have these conversations where it's like, because like we want her business to do well as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm working and we're trying to figure out if we can move into the house and, so you got to have these conversations. And that's my learning from here today as well, is that, like, as hard as the conversations are, you just got to remember. That's why for me that the goal is the purpose of our relationship and where we want to do and what we want to achieve in life.
Like, how do you want to live your life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not all about like goals. It's like, I want to live my life this way when I'm 50.
Yep.
I want to say I did this.
Yep.
And we lived it this way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are the things we're going to have to do over the next 20 years?
Exactly. Yep.
As a couple.
Yep.
Let's plan it. So if there's any advice I'd say to anyone listening to this is talk about it and then plan it.
Yep.
Do something.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like having a kid as well, right? You can't just pop out a kid if you have no money. It costs quite a bit. An average of $500,000 to raise them until they're 18. So it's about $20,000-$30,000 a year. It's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
If you're earning $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's a huge chunk.
Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just
average,
have one.
right? Average. Not in the first few years. Yeah. When they want to buy a new iPhone, Daddy, I want a new iPhone.
Man.
Or go to college and things like that, or flatting out, or buying an investment property for them costs a bit of money too.
Yeah.
So you got to think about these things before you. Yeah,
for sure.
So you're about to go through all of this in the next 12 months and like literally have to be like, oh, I need to open this bank account. Oh, I need to open
Pretty
this.
much. Yep. Yeah, that's why it's so timely for us is to, because we're going to be going into
sign like your power bill is going to come and it's going to have both your names on it. You can be like, whoa. Like, those are like.
Pretty much. That's what we're trying to figure out now as well. It's like, man, what is like, because so she works for herself and she's trying to get her business going, right? And then I'm working full time and then we've got the house and then we're trying to figure out if we can afford to live there while still
doing what you want to do.
Doing everything, because.
Does it add pressure, right? Like the financial pressure, and then does it still give you the opportunity to do some of the things you want to do?
Yeah. Or do we just kick it at home for a bit until we, can get ourselves a bit more settled and then just keep the other thing on rent? So.
Quadrants, mate.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing is like, okay, so when we live together, we're going to have these accounts. We're going to have these things to pay for.
Yeah.
What are all the things we know we're going to have to pay for?
Yep.
And let's just see if we can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so common for Indians as well once they get married to like just go and live at one of the family's houses for a year.
Yeah.
Like it's so common. But if you've talked about it and you're like, I think we really need to like have this time alone, or we haven't lived together before.
That's what we want to do, is we want to like live together and we're like, what's wrong in us trying to like do it, and see if we can do it.
Yeah.
We're going to we'll push ourselves. And if we find that we need to get more money, then we're just going to have to do something to get more money.
Yeah, I think people overcomplicate it too. Like,
yeah, that's right.
You move into a house, no one needs 6 pots and 10 pans and all the cutlery and that. You just need 2 forks, a dinner plate each, and a couple of cups. Like you'll be good.
Yeah. Just make sure you share the laundry,
and your mum will send over so much shit that you don't need.
Yeah. When you get married, you get all these things as well. Like.
And then her mum's going to send over all this other crap that she doesn't need.
Yeah.
But that's what happened to us. We had to clear out our kitchen when we moved. Yeah. And I called my mum up. I was like, can you come over? She came over. She's like, what's all this? It's like, that's your stuff.
Yeah.
That you gave me that I don't need. So
I just like look at our cupboard upstairs, man. I'm just like, we've never used this. Like,
same with my mum's one.
What is this thing doing? And this is like multiplied across the whole kitchen. And then like, even that, there's stuff in cupboards around the house that's like, it's like Tupperware lying around the house.
Yeah. Just accumulated over 20, 30 years.
Tupperware, man. That's like,
it's a great point to like just move into a house and there's just 2 people starting with nothing, and that whole minimalist approach. There's something to be said for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Because then you're like, I don't need to buy that because probably don't need it, and it's going to cost money. And if I buy it, the opportunity cost is X.
Like there's so much things that we already think about that we don't need. Like we don't need a TV.
Yeah.
Because
everything's on the computer.
Exactly. Your updates come through like Facebook or people's Instagrams, like if there's anything that's really like breaking news, you're going to see it online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even your Netflix is on your phone too.
Exactly. You just watch stuff on iPads. You got TVNZ on demand.
That's actually a really common thing.
You've got
when people move houses, Neon, right? They're like, you just said you don't want a TV, but when I moved, I was like, I need a TV and a good one,
right?
And Cal was like, why do you need such an expensive TV? I'm like, I need a good TV, man. Like, I need to watch some sport on it. We got to have Sky, So like, these are my values that I have, and. So I just paid for it. I was like, it's my TV, it's my choice. And and for me to afford that, I had like this crappy, there was like bricks with like wooden planks on it to hold the TV
up. So it's that give and take, right? Of like what you and what you do and what you don't want. And so for me, it's like, sweet, if we can move in and if we have to rough it and just we're right with the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, we're still living together in our own place. And
that's cool.
That's the main
still
thing.
Having fun, you're still a couple. Yeah.
And coming home from work and being like, hey, I'm home. Like, you're not going to do that. like, you know, kissing a cuddle or whatever. You're not going to do that if you're at your mum's house. You know, you can do that in your own house.
Yeah. And my main thing for me is that I get to set this whole thing up over there.
Yep.
And like, I don't have to, like, every time I have to keep packing up the set and pushing everything in because there's other people living in this house.
Yeah.
Man, imagine like just when I got my own place.
The studio
is like always set up to go.
Yeah.
You know, I can drill stuff into the ceiling.
Yep.
I can set things
Sounds
up.
like you already made your choice.
Yeah.
I have.
All I'm hearing is this is dumb.
It is, man.
Lock
it's
it
just
in.
like,
Well, send the letter, mate. Kick him out 90 days.
yeah. So yeah, man, that's the plan. Is like we both want to move out. So the
That's
plan is
awesome.
how
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to get there.
And you both can grow
You know.
together as a person.
And you're lucky it's your own house. Like, you're not renting it. So
Exactly.
you might be cash flow negative on it because you're having to pay.
Yep.
But it's your house and it's the asset is going up. So, like, it's not like you're renting and it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, man. And like everything else in the area is just increasing as well. Like density's increasing. So that'll be good. More people coming into the area and we're sitting on a nice patch of land.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is this place?
Roskell.
Oh, Roskell, nice.
Yeah, down in Penny Ave. So
Oh, yeah. There'll be 7 terrace houses on there shortly.
yeah. So that's the plan that
Yeah.
we want to get there. So everything we're doing now is like, how do we, I'm trying to think about everything I'm doing with this. How do I find opportunity to generate income through this?
Yep.
How do we increase the income coming through her business? You know, because that all helps towards that goal.
The common goal, yeah.
That common goal is to, you know.
And if this is set up in a room in your house, it's deductible for tax.
Now my man's talking.
home
All of a
office claim.
sudden,
Eh?
it's cheap.
So yeah, no, that's why today's been really good for me as well, because I'm in that, like you're saying, I'm in that point of life where
The transition phase.
you're having these conversations, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who either haven't had these conversations or are going to have these conversations, and I think it's really important that we, you know,
Yeah, because we're going to get, those people are going to get told by their parents more often than not the pathway that they should take.
Yeah.
And everything we've spoken about today is non-traditional, pretty much.
Mhm.
And so we're
100%.
actually going to be saying, no, mum, no, dad, I'm not going to do that. And then there's going to be family consequences to that. But like the upside is so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you kind of picked it out. But funny saying that, because my parents didn't tell me how they structured their bank accounts. You know, it's just kind of just learn along the way. Yeah, picking up from people.
I've had to log into my mum and dad's bank account since I was like 12. I still do.
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's how much
Yeah.
my dad was like, you know, my mum doesn't, she just swipes the card, you know?
Yeah.
And she doesn't really care too much. But over all the years, she knows roughly how much she's allowed to spend every day, every week or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's totally opposite. I know nothing about my parents' finances even till now.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how much they earned for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Asians,
mum-
they just
my
roll
mum's-
hush, you know, like.
Is that just because it's a culture thing? Because my mum's pretty transparent with like me and all of us. You know, she's like, if anything ever happens to me, this is where everything is, and you know, these are all the accounts and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Every time I ask my parents, like, how much do you earn? They're like, not enough. Enough to feed you.
Still.
You take all my money.
Yeah.
You should approach it in a, hey, I heard this new tax law. Just make something up. Can save you heaps of money.
yeah. But yeah, like a culture thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So you reckon Malaysians are more secretive?
I think so. Yeah. I think my cousin's the same thing as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any idea how much my aunties and uncles and their families.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, anyone else apart from my immediate.
Yeah, but I know how much everyone in my family earns.
Yeah.
Might be an interesting poll, like asking your parents, do you know how much your parents earn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole generational wealth thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
If you actually don't know, how do you know if you're supposed to protect it or not?
Yep.
Like if they're paying a $300,000 deposit for a house, how do you know if that's like their life's work or if it's like a drop in the pool?
It can be for the right reasons. Like, let's say if you're earning $1 million a year and your 12-year-old son knows that his dad earns $1 million a year, his thinking's going to change 100%.
Yeah. So maybe your parents earn like $1 million a year.
No,
Yeah, your parents are probably like living it up, and they're like,
When's the last time you saw them?
I wish. They got a house in the Bahamas. Yeah. So got a $15 million trust that we don't know about. No.
Your brain's thinking now, eh?
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to cover before we round it off?
No, I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good conversation today.
Yeah.
Before we do round off, I do want to just cover what we talked about and just recap. So, like talking about having that transparency and trust and having a joint bank account, and we didn't say that you had to, or you didn't have to, and that it just comes down to priority value and that transparency or trust or how you build that relationship. And then like how we talked about with, I'm going to use relationship agreements and property agreements, because like you're saying, there's that whole, everything you've worked for, you can lose it. And I think you gave
and
that.
your parents worked for.
Exactly what your parents worked for. And the example you talked about, like the person creating the app and then their partner just, cheats and that's it. I want half of it.
Yeah.
But like you haven't actually done anything for it. So there's that that area of protecting yourself and so I think for me it also comes down to this like knowing yourself and what you want to do, and then also being okay to have those conversations with your partner or making it okay and regular as well.
If you can't talk about it, you probably have to ask yourself the question, is the relationship strong enough?
Exactly. Yep.
If I'm to be brutal.
Yep. For sure. 100%.
Yeah, it's you made a good point before that, because we've talked a lot about spending.
Yep.
But we didn't talk a lot about earning.
Yep.
And if you have a common goal or someone's got expensive habits or whatever, maybe you need to talk about, hey, you need to earn more. Or I need more time so I can earn more or something like that.
Yep.
Not in the condescending way. Like you build together, you're on the same team, right? So let's just work on your CV together, try to get a better job, we'll boost each other up. And we do that to each other all the time when we were young, When I was 24, we were earning $40,000, $50,000 a year.
Yeah. It's purpose people profit, right? Yeah. If you're going to work day to day for no core purpose, and it's also not giving you the financial outcomes you need as a family, what are you doing there?
Yep. True.
Move on.
Yeah.
And if it's if you still want to move on and it's still not fulfilling your purpose, but it pays you more, at least you've just nailed one of the two. And it might be like a 1 year outcome until you find your purpose and then move on again. So you have to ask yourself, is this serving my relationship goals from a financial point of view, but also like a happiness point of view? Is this making us happy? Because if it's not, and finances is the second most reason why people get separated, it's probably going to end like that.
Yeah. Fix it before it happens.
Yeah.
For sure. Cool. Last time you guys were in, we'll just round off with our last two questions. You guys said being human was pretty much not being a dick.
Was it that succinct?
Is that still the same for you guys? Has being human changed in the last year, or being now changed for you guys?
Yeah, being empathetic,
Yeah.
Especially I think COVID triggered that a lot inside of us.
Yeah.
Before people be like, oh, it's just me and you, but it teaches more to think about other people first before saying anything or making any actions.
Yeah. I still think there's like a holistic approach to being human, health, wealth, love, happiness.
Yeah. That's what you said last time.
Yeah. Like it's not just about like the physical being, like it's like the mental and everything.
Yep.
And just how can you be the best human you can be?
Yep.
And then if you can nail that, then you're probably going to be able to give a lot to other people as well, because you're going to be like mentally and physically fit to give more.
Yeah.
And they will
the
help
more you give, the more you get.
Well. Yeah.
So I think, that's been a big, I think the last sort of 3-4 months is like the amount of people we've helped, just like for no reason.
Yeah.
Even long
personally.
clients, you know? Yeah. People just messaging you, needing help.
Yeah, I think that's quite cool. Yeah.
Sweet. I just want to thank you guys for coming along and giving us your time, and
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you. Yeah.
I love
the setup always.
Yeah, man. Want to get you guys back in more often as well, and because in some cases money does make the world spin, and we live with it as part of our life. So I feel like it's important that we have a healthy relationship with money, or learn how to think about it. So yeah, I'm definitely keen to get you guys back in as well, and
let's get comfortable with talking about money.
exactly.
Yeah. If you guys are listening, if you want any topics, just let Akash know. And happy to plan it out.
Sweet. And I want to thank you guys if you're tuning in, whether you're listening, whether you're watching. Thank you so much. We only ask that if you feel like there's anyone out there who will benefit from what we've talked about, that you just share it to them. If you have anything that you'd like us to discuss, you can hit us up on info@thehumannow.co.nz. And that's about it. Until next time, be human, be now.